The American automotive industry, once a proud symbol of unity and innovation, now faces a period of deep uncertainty and upheaval. For decades, automakers and regulators worked hand in hand, building a reputation for reliability and progress that shaped the nation's economic backbone. But Hyundai's recent exit from a voluntary emissions pact has exposed the cracks in what was already a fragile alliance between automakers and government regulators. This move has sent shockwaves through the industry, raising questions about the future of cooperation and shared goals. This is the fallout of a regulatory battle that began during the Trump administration, a conflict that shattered years of hard-won progress toward a single, unified, national emissions standard. The resulting uncertainty has left both industry leaders and policymakers scrambling for answers. Now, automakers are forced to choose between weaker federal rules and California's much tougher targets, creating a costly and confusing patchwork of regulations that complicates every aspect of production and planning. The industry's dream of a unified market has given way to division and frustration, with companies struggling to plan for the future amid shifting rules and unpredictable policy changes. Delayed investments, supply chain chaos, and job insecurity are now the norm. Factories face production slowdowns, and suppliers are left in limbo, unsure how to adapt to the ever-changing landscape. The stakes are high. American manufacturing jobs, the pace of electric vehicle adoption, and the stability of the entire sector hang in the balance. Workers worry about layoffs, while companies hesitate to invest in new technologies. As 2025 draws to a close, the industry is mired in confusion, with no clear path forward. Executives debate strategies, analysts issue warnings, and uncertainty clouds every decision. The consequences are real: delayed innovation, confused consumers, and a growing sense of unease among both buyers and industry insiders. Shoppers hesitate, unsure which vehicles will meet future standards or retain their value. The once stable foundation of American automaking is now riddled with uncertainty, threatening the legacy of an industry that helped build the nation. The future of the industry, and its vital role in the global economy, remains in question as leaders search for a way to restore unity and chart a new course forward. The roots of today's turmoil in the auto industry can be traced directly back to the Trump administration's introduction of the Safe Vehicles Rule, a dramatic shift in direction from previous policy. This rule reversed the ambitious Obama-era CAFE standards, which had set the industry on a path toward cleaner, more efficient vehicles. The original standards pushed automakers to achieve an average of 54.5 miles per gallon by 2025, aiming to significantly cut greenhouse gas emissions, reduce oil dependence, and drive technological innovation across the sector. The SAFE rule, however, slashed these targets, lowering the required annual improvements to just 1.5% and setting a much less ambitious overall goal, which critics argued would slow progress and harm the environment. The administration claimed this rollback would make new cars more affordable for American families, but it also revoked California's long-standing authority to set stricter emissions standards, igniting fierce debate. This controversial move split the U.S. market in two, forcing automakers to gamble on which set of rules, federal or state, would ultimately prevail, creating deep uncertainty. The result was a fractured regulatory landscape, with companies caught between conflicting federal and state mandates, unsure how to plan for the future. The chaos forced automakers into costly, high-stakes decisions about product development, investment, and compliance, raising the risk of financial losses and production delays. The regulatory schism that began during this period set the stage for the industry's current crisis, with uncertainty rippling through every level of the supply chain. In the end, the gamble has left automakers, and the nation as a whole, paying the price, as the industry struggles to adapt to a divided and unpredictable regulatory environment. In response to the split, Ford, Honda, BMW, and Volkswagen struck a voluntary deal with California, aiming for consistency and cleaner vehicles. Hyundai and Kia later joined, but the alliance was always fragile. Hyundai's recent withdrawal, citing regulatory instability and unsustainable complexity, marks a turning point. The cost of complying with two sets of rules was projected to add nearly $800 million to Hyundai's North American budget in just 3 years. This retreat isn't a rejection of environmental goals, it's a plea for predictability. Automakers can innovate, but not amid constant legal and political warfare. Hyundai's move is a calculated effort to reduce risk and simplify operations. The message is clear: without stable rules, even the most committed companies will pull back. Hyundai's exit has shaken the California-aligned coalition, leaving Ford, Honda, BMW, and Volkswagen under pressure. Companies following weaker federal standards, like GM and Toyota, now enjoy a temporary edge. Suppliers are caught in the middle, forced to produce parts for diverging standards, driving up costs and complexity. Dealers and consumers face confusion, with vehicle choices varying dramatically by state. This balkanization undermines the U.S. industry's global competitiveness, as Europe and Asia move decisively toward electrification. Automakers delaying investment in clean technology risk falling behind international rivals. The industry is splitting. One camp prepares for the future, the other clings to the past. This division cannot last without serious consequences. The regulatory chaos has hit the electric vehicle transition especially hard. Strong emissions standards drive EV development. Weakened rules sap the incentive to invest. Hyundai, once a leader in EVs, may now prioritize markets with clearer mandates, leaving U.S. consumers with fewer choices and longer waits. Billions in planned investments for batteries, charging networks, and retraining hinge on a clear transition timeline. Uncertainty puts these investments at risk, slowing America's EV momentum. BloombergNEF data shows the U.S. EV market share could drop from 30% to 22% by 2030 due to this indecision. That's millions of vehicles and billions in investment lost. The lack of a unified policy is a powerful brake on progress. The market and the planet can't afford more delays. The chaos isn't just corporate drama, it threatens nearly 10 million American jobs. Automakers forced to build different vehicles for different states face higher costs and lower productivity. Investment in new factories and EV components stalls amid uncertainty, costing thousands of potential jobs. Small suppliers, lacking the resources to adapt quickly, are hit hardest, leading to layoffs and closures. The skills gap widens as retraining for EV jobs lags behind, leaving workers in limbo. A slow, uncertain transition discourages investment in workforce development. Communities built on manufacturing face economic anxiety as the industry's future grows murkier. The regulatory split is hollowing out the industrial base of America's heartland. Without clarity, the risk to jobs and communities will only grow. America's ongoing regulatory chaos is sending shockwaves across the globe, damaging its long-standing reputation as a leader in automotive standards and innovation. Once seen as a model for others to follow, the U.S. now faces growing skepticism from international partners and competitors alike. The European Union is forging ahead with bold, aggressive green policies, setting ambitious climate targets and pushing for cleaner transportation. Soon, the EU may impose taxes on imports from countries with weaker climate rules, including the U.S., in an effort to protect its own industries and the environment. If U.S. standards continue to lag behind, American-made cars could face steep tariffs, making them less competitive abroad. This would not only hurt exports but also weaken America's position in critical trade negotiations, putting jobs and economic growth at risk. Global automakers like Hyundai and Volkswagen now find themselves forced to juggle a patchwork of conflicting standards, disrupting the efficiency of their global platforms and increasing production costs. These companies must make a tough choice: either build to the highest global standard, which is more expensive, or create cheaper, less advanced models just for the U.S. market, risking their reputation for quality and innovation. Meanwhile, China and Europe are rapidly consolidating their lead in electric vehicles and clean technology, investing heavily in infrastructure and research to secure their dominance for decades to come. The U.S. appears divided and indecisive, with political gridlock and partisan battles ceding leadership to its global rivals at a critical moment. This internal struggle projects an image of a nation unable to agree on vital economic and environmental policy, undermining confidence both at home and abroad. As other countries move forward with bold investments and clear strategies, America risks being left behind in the race for the future of mobility and sustainable industry. The stakes are not just economic, they're about global influence, technological leadership, and the ability to shape the future of transportation and energy. The world is watching closely, and unless the U.S. acts decisively, it risks falling further behind in a rapidly changing global landscape. As 2025 ends, the American auto industry remains on shaky ground. The safe vehicles rules fragmentation persists, and Hyundai's withdrawal highlights the need for a unified national standard. The Biden administration is pushing for more ambitious targets, but legal and political uncertainty remains. Automakers hesitate to invest, fearing future policy reversals. A grand compromise, federal, state, and industry leaders forging a durable, bipartisan standard, could restore stability. Without it, the industry risks slow decline and irrelevance. The future is electric and high-tech. Markets with clear policies will lead. The current chaos is an existential threat to America's automotive legacy. The choices made now will shape the industry's fate for decades. The Trump administration's rollback of unified emission standards plunged the U.S. auto industry into chaos. Hyundai's exit from the California Pact is a symptom of deeper dysfunction. Companies can't thrive amid dueling rules. The fractured industry faces higher costs, supply chain strain, and a stalled EV transition. Billions in investment and millions of jobs are at risk, while America's global standing slips. The lesson is clear: predictability and consistency are essential for industrial progress. Without a clear, durable national standard, the industry loses time and momentum. The challenge is not technology, but policy and vision. America has the talent to lead in clean mobility, if it can find consensus. The question remains: will the U.S. forge a lasting regulatory peace or be left behind on the road to the future?